How are you guys feeling this morning?
Feeling pretty good, Stunna. How about yourself?
Cool. Well, let's get right into it. See you later.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Stunna. And we are going to be bringing you the action for not only this semifinal, but the other one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the DreamHack Open as we prepare to enter the matchup between the two steels.
The two steel.
Yeah.
The Battle of Steel. I'm really excited for it. Also, like, these two teams, really, really interesting. Like, Luminosity represents this kind of X-Factor firepower. Everyone can just pop off and something incredible might happen. It's probably not going to happen, but it might happen. You never know. Like, CS is a game that you can think that you have everything figured out, and then all of a sudden something insane just pops off the table. So I would say I agree with the desk. Like, Ghost Gaming definitely the favorite to take this one. But you never know what Henny can bring to the table in some kind of clutch situation, what Steel can do to set up the other players, what Lucas, like I remember back in the year, like 2 years ago, Lucas was like hitting shots left, right, and center, clutching everything with AKs and all that stuff. So you never know what could happen, but I would agree it's probably going to be Ghost.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going live with our first map of the day, the first map of our final Sunday here. It's going to be on Train, and let's get into it. It's Luminosity Gaming going up against Ghost, the winner, moving on to the grand finals of the DreamHack Open.
Already now, early smokes being deployed, flashes as well. It smells like the split outside towards A. Still has to rotate back from the pressure on Ivy, and Yell will grab one.
Start things off well. Steel's being allowed to get away with a whole bunch of shots, but nothing's being connected from it. It's 3 kills coming out now, 4 from Ghost instead. There is a response from Luminosity Steel, but we're going to see him fall just seconds later anyway as Ghost burst their way into a pistol round victory to start things off. An interesting note, if we look at their LAN record, that's actually one of the first times we've actually seen Ghost win the pistol. Their record prior to coming to this LAN was 1-8 for winning pistols. So
yikes. That's a tough one. But then, like, I like the way that they approach this. So basically, they're running a pretty standard default straight push out. And actually, normally before this game, you would say, okay, Luminosity, they'll probably have a slight advantage in straight 1v1 duels. But in this setup, actually, Ghost ends up winning out completely. Kusta with a double kill with a Glock as well, just making it work. And 1-0 will be the scoreline. 2 AKs and 3 MAC-10s. Full eco from Luminosity, as you would expect. Trying to stack together, see if they can maybe grab 1 or 2 frags. Ideally, they would like to not die to these MAC-10s. Ideally to maybe the Molotov on Sabrosa, just the AKs on either Steel or Neptune.
Who's still going to try to jump out first? Gets a good amount of damage done, but won't be able to commit to it as he's just trying to draw attention away from the outer bomb site in the meanwhile to allow his team to go for the easy plant, which they've already accomplished in doing. So this round, sadly for the Luminosity fans out there, like it's going to be pretty much over soon. Luminosity's got something up their sleeve here. They are going to try to at least do a little bit of damage by moving in from the flank. The problem is they themselves have also been flanked by Wardell. Steel continues to hold the line from the train. He will eventually go down, and Neckers actually holds the line for a moment on the flank. They get at least 2 players down. In addition to the plant, it's a team ace, meanwhile, from Ghost as they take control of the round.
I'm curious if they actually got that AK to go. You could see Steel was kind of shooting it towards one of his teammates. We're going to find out when we jump back into the server. Because if they take away an AK, that's a really, really big problem. See, okay, there we go. Actually, the AK wasn't picked up. So actually, really nice round then from Luminosity. Get 2 kills, one of them being an AK. Just keeping the economy just slightly low for Ghost. And now 3 MAC-10s against the full buy from the CT. This should be 2-1.
Ghost are going to continue to try and go for, I think, a little bit more fast-paced action this time. Already working their way down the other side of Ivy, but the second player sitting in the back, Steel, throws them off. There is the trade that comes in from Neptune, inside of Ghost to be able to take down Luminosity Steel. But still, it's 3 strong being held on the site by Luminosity. A lot focusing, of course, on these back lanes by the old bomb tunnel now. Neck is the challenges first, but he goes down to Ghost Steel.
Oh, and he just keeps on trucking. Henny goes down as well, and that's all on Lucas. 1v3. Just on the other edge of the smoke is an AUG. Steel is thirsty, but he misses the angle. So now Lucas will have a shot, but don't worry. Wardell has it locked down with the AWP. No worries whatsoever. And 3-0, actually. After the initial pressure, looked very nice and very one-sided, to be honest, for Ghost.
Yeah, it's always been pretty much the same thing, the way the rounds have played out, too, even though, of course, there's been rounds where we've had LG on a little bit less buy into some of these situations, but it's pretty much been just a solid example of good trades from Ghost throughout the mid-round. They kind of slow it down once they get access to the initial staging area they want to go for, whether that's just the outer side here by E-Box or over there towards Ivy. We'll talk more about this later, though, as once again, Ghost is keeping the heat on the next anti-eco, pushing directly out through T-Con with 2 of their players, Sabrosa and Steel, both picking up kills, and now Sabrosa's found a third with the elimination of Henny, so just not leaving any room for Luminosity to think, let alone try to come back in a lot of these eco rounds.
And I really like the strategical choice right now for Ghost. So basically they're doing almost the same default strat as they've been doing the last couple of rounds, just to not show anything to Luminosity, but also to kind of almost like suffocate them. It's so fast, so you get the kind of feeling of there's no way we can affect the round, there's no way we can do anything. Maybe we get a kill, yeah, but in the big picture it doesn't really matter that much. And that makes Luminosity feel like, okay, there's no way we can gain control of this match. And then all of a sudden when they say, okay, let's stack 4 players outside to stop this, when the buy round comes around, I'm sure you're going to see Steel calling a quick inner push with like smokes down to the left lane and Molotovs into the back of the side. So yeah, this is a good start for for Ghost, strategically and frag-wise. But look at Steel from the other side, bringing in 2. Just to keep that economy low and pick up an obstacle.
Luminosity Steel looks like he's going to be able to get away with this op, actually, so pretty big deal. Third player actually ends up going down due to the explosion from Ghost, too, so once again, money is going to be a big problem for them, as they've yet to win a round with more than 3 players standing yet. They haven't really been able to grow the economy as much as they would have liked. It's pretty much just stagnant at where it's at currently.
See Wardell, due to investing in all those ops, down to $50. The rest of the team will be able to buy even if they lose this. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Henny has also gotten an off of his own. Wardell watching the upper angle. I'm just going to peek that for now. Steel decided to go for some early knife control down towards Ivy, but doesn't find anything. Nekis towards E-Box. And setting up once again in a default focused on the outer bomb side, A. But do keep in mind that Steel, the in-game leader on your mini map, is located towards the inner bomb side. That could be a sign that this is going to be the executed later on.
Nice spot there from Costa. Down inside of the ladder room, just through the smoke, is able to spot out Nekis and once again give Ghost the opening round advantage here. Still with over a minute on the clock as well, so we're not going to see any immediate reaction follow up on that kill. In fact, it's going to remain passive from Ghost. All players either hiding in the halls or the extremities of this A-bomb site, looking still to lurk and eventually move in as the time gets lower, and I think that time is going to be coming pretty soon for them to execute finally. Out they're going to go, but there's no utility to block out players like Henny, so him and Steel rocking up kills. Steel finding the second, Henny with the third. Kusta, though, does finally trade and drop the offer from Luminosity, but it should be noted that Yell still has that secondary op up inside of heaven. He takes down Kusta. Sabrosa with the trade, yes, but he still has 2 more players to take out in a moment. He's going to find himself pinched. He'll be taken out by Lucas, and finally, we'll see Luminosity get on the board after 4 straight on the opening from Ghost.
And you can see the mid-round call came in there from Ghost after they got that one opening outside. Default sets up, and then they go for the outside push. But as you said, not enough utility to block off the AWP of Henny, not enough Molotovs to go in. Flash timings doesn't work either on that long range anyways. So it becomes kind of a problem unless you have something to straight up counter Henny's AWP. And he can be in many different positions, so that can be hard. And now the money is coming so close. They have enough to buy here. Wardell is on a deagle, but the rest of the team have what they want. But if they lose, this is going to be a straight eco for Ghost.
Thankfully, if they end up on an eco, this is still a pretty good start for Ghost to get 4 rounds right from the beginning on T side here.
Sure.
So, of course, most of that's still coming from the pistol round, but if they can bounce back and trade out the lost round from Luminosity, they're going to be in amazing shape, because that'll potentially allow them to run up to 6, maybe even 7 rounds here.
Another fun little thing to note is that Steel got the front spawn, so he actually got the AWP drop, and then after not finding anything with the front spawn, he drops the AWP back over to Wardell, and then, as the selfless in-game leader that he is, decides to go with just the team.
Always got to make the sacrifice for the team, yeah?
The greater good, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's still quiet for the most part here on Ghost, and we're just past the time where we saw them execute on the last round.
This looks like the inner explosion, especially with the 3 Molotovs. A lot of like default executes towards this B bomb side revolves around getting Molotovs down to the specific positions where CT players can be. So it kind of depends on what kind of setup they have, because one is far back and one is on the back of the bomb side train. Probably going to see smoke on the lower lane as well, and then a flash timing towards lower, so Neptune can come in and get the entry. Well, that's a nice nade though.
pretty good, actually. Pretty meaty amount of damage, and it's going to be finished off by Henny. As they start to push their way down the bottom of the ramp, there's an immediate trade, but still op presence is here, meaning they can move out into the lanes just yet and try to take more site control. That could be a problem in the late round, as it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for Luminosity to get more of their room back on the retake. They're already starting to rotate in. The majority of their players, though, are stuck inside of Z right now, or at least half of them are. Meaning they're going to have problems getting them out and onto the site to begin with because they haven't secured the side where Ghosts are hanging out at right now. Steel will get one, immediately gets traded out by Yell from Luminosity. At least 3 still standing from Ghost. More nade damage can be found, but Kusta lurking forward gets a 1-for-1. Brings it down to 2 to each side. Now an overpeak from Sabrosa eliminates him. Wardell gives away his position and gives away his life seconds later as well. Yell takes him out, and of course Nekis gets the defused, and at the second round straight for Luminosity.
Very nicely done there by Yell, grabbing himself a 3-piece and just shutting down the round in general. If he missed one of those shots, any one of them, the round could have been totally different. And the guy either on the side that he shot down towards the low lane, that's the guy, or the guy towards upper could have killed the bomb diffuser. So very nicely played by Yell. But I like the idea, the general strat, the post-plant positions from Ghost that looked good. But Luminosity, very good to counter it immediately. They knew exactly what was going on. They waited a long time coming in with that retake just to make sure that they clear every single position. And if they don't clear a position, they're in positions to refract the guy who's just going to come in with a kill.
Very early tactical pause going to be taken by Ghost. Only 2 rounds lost by them. They seem to realize the issue already, or at the very minimum, Steel seems to recognize some problems that's going on with the current workings in the team, so he will call for the first pause now and try to fix these quickly so that Ghost can maintain a dominant scoreline, especially with the way that they started things off with a 4-0 lead on their T side. Unfortunately, we probably won't see that kickback happen on this round, since they do have to go, for the most part, a very light buy, which is P250s and a very slight amount of utility, but they definitely have a plan. There's a big push coming over here towards Ivy early on in the round. The problem they're going to have to deal with, though, is there's double ops position to watch out for this. Henny's already taken down 2. Yell's got the other side of the angle. No one's getting through the gauntlet there. And Steel from Luminosity will pick up the final kill over towards T-Con.
Yeah, complete lockdown. And something that you talked about earlier was when Ghost won their rounds, they survived with 2, maybe 3 players one round. But this round here, right now, completely locked down. No one dies. 2 ops surviving. Actually, a lot of utility also saved as well. So really building an economy, a strong economy now, Luminosity. And that's one of the key factors of having a good CT side on train. You've got to have that economy so you can get the double op. You can always have Molotovs to lock things down early on, but also have some for the late round. Also, smokes for the eventual diffuse inside. So having that economy is super key, and right now they're building it.
That was the first time someone actually won a round with all 5 still standing. So Luminosity, of course, getting off to a much better start because of that. Ghost going to be trying to go for a pretty quick setup towards the inner box hall, and they're even going to follow it through down the ramp. They've actually been allowed to get down pretty low. Henny, I'm amazed he didn't see the side of him a little bit sooner there. Gusto was standing at the bottom of it for a very long time. Regardless, the push out, but the smokes are nowhere near perfect, so Lucas is allowed to get away with a double kill. Takes out Kusta and Wardell, as now Ghost get enough of their pressure onto the site to at least get a plant. That might have been the primary objective for this round, so they at least accomplished that. The problem is they're just not getting any kills whatsoever, and it is minus the 1 loss of Lucas, an absolute shutdown from Luminosity to now tie it up at 4-4.
Very nicely done, winning the buy round there. And also, one thing to note is that they're actually playing a kind of like passive inside setup. So they're basically waiting for the T team to come in and throw their utility and then be completely ready. Henny's able to rotate in with the AWP, and they have the player on the first lower train. One thing you can do as well is that you can have a guy who spots up at the no man's land position on the lower ramp, but they're actually not doing that. So they're not getting any information that any execute is coming until they see the nades and hear the footsteps down towards lower. And that's actually kind of atypical. A lot of teams will have one spotting no man's land, so they get that information early on. But Luminosity are confident enough that they're just going to hold back and play passive.
In a good position down at the bottom of the ladder. Probably going to take a lot of heat from these grenades here. Well, he does successfully take out Kust on the first drop. Kusta's nade from the grave will be able to eliminate Nekis and bring this right back down to a 4v4.
Nice little movement there from Henny. Got himself up onto the boost position.
Yeah.
And 2 ops outside. Makes a lot of sense. You want to maximize your chance of having those long-range duels.
The drop down coming in now, as we are going to see Ghost take full control of ladder and use smokes to get out from E-Box from there. Henny still trying to use this ticket position, but there's not much to be seen, unfortunately, with the smoke sitting in the way. Yell will try to contest from the outside, but he gets completely run over by Sabrosa. And with that, Ghost will take solid control of this A site. The overconfident, or excuse me, the over-positioning of Luminosity to play towards Z really seems to have bitten back against them as Ghost restrict any vision there by putting 2 smokes on top of it, and neither Steel nor Henny are really able to do much to stop that push. Their site players are run over, and with that, Ghost takes solid control of the A site and win the round from the bomb plant, basically.
Yeah, it's a really nice read by Steel and the guys to focus on the C control, as you said. Like that boost, even if you jump on it yourself or you get boosted with an AWP, is a very common place, and you can really wreak havoc from that place if you have an AWP. Also, the rotation that comes in on the back of the bomb train. Very unfortunate that he just doesn't hold his ground and wait for the other lane, the Sharks lane, to just be open. But then again, it's a 50-50 gamble if you want to peek left or if you want to just hold the position. And in that situation, he picks the wrong one. You see, that's the one I'm talking about. Yell, if he just waited like 5 more seconds, he would have been able to get 1 frag and then maybe rotate around and get another one. But he got a bit too hungry there. Wanted to bite the apple.
So with that, Luminosity, thankfully they managed to keep at least 2 of their own players alive from the previous round, so rebuys aren't going to be too bad against them, so they still have a bit of money stacked up there, like Henny and Steel specifically, sitting on a combined 12K between the 2 of them, so there might be 1 more rebuy even if this round goes badly, as long as they can save 1 or 2 players. For Ghost, of course, they're still looking to build theirs up, but with a 4-man alive start round, that's not a bad way to start off a winning streak. A 1-for-1 exchange will be the way that the 10th round starts out over here at the edge of Ivy, though. A little bit too much aggression from Steel on Luminosity's side, but at least he's able to take down Wardell in the process before getting traded.
And something that a lot of teams will do if they feel like they're in control on their CT side is that they'll push flash push one out Ivy to gain even more map control. Nice counter read by Ghost. I like the idea in general to just, okay, we're in control if we can push some more and just get further ahead, but in this situation, Ghost have a perfect read on it. They have 3 guys towards Ivy. And now they want to go for this explosion down towards backline. Potentially a split towards B, but going to be stopped in that track.
Yell's going to continue to hold them off here. He does get pushed back a little bit further into the old bomb tunnel, though, but the pressure coming in from CT is going to allow him to re-aggress, and that is re-security coming back out for Luminosity in that old bomb tunnel. All that's left alive is Kusta, who is lurking towards the B bomb site, hoping to come in late from Z, I think. But unfortunately, his time is now passed, especially with the bomb going down way over on the A site. Not really much hope for Kusta to piece this back together. Luminosity should be able to shut this down, but we'll see if Kusta has any plans. Let's continue to shrink ever more so, unfortunately, with 15 seconds left, and there we go. There's the peak from Yell to finish off the job on the round, and also shut down the reset the losing bonus once again for Ghost after only 1 round was picked up by them.
And Luminosity looking fairly solid so far on the CT side, and communication is being done by James RL, the coach of Ghost Gaming. Not sure if it's the timeout or if it's just the freeze time. The timeout will be coming in now. So he's just making sure that all these small fixes and tendencies he spotted is communicated out to the team so they can just get that extra 5%. Because usually when you have all these setups that you practice, you can't really change a lot, but you can just tweak it slightly, like the timing of a smoke maybe, or like 2 guys making like a small kind of deal. Okay, this is how we're going to control Ivy from now on, a different flash timing, all that stuff. Just small things, small fixes, but usually in pro games, like rounds are decided by the last 5 to 10% because everyone on the server is so good.
Ghost are a team that care about the little things, if anything, though, considering their coaching and IGL staff. So
yeah,
especially considering how early they've used these pauses compared to a lot of the other teams that we've seen play out between the last 2 days so far. Certainly more proactive in their use of it than quite a few of the other teams we've seen play out so far. And that's good to see.
Yeah, I really like that. Like, pauses are there for a reason. Like, just use the advantages. Even if you don't have anything to fix or anything to say, just use it to get a breather just to make sure that everyone's on the same page. I feel it's, like, criminally underused by pro teams at this point.
Ghost are going to try to go for box house control, but there's obviously a lot more immediate attempts to deny access, and both of those attempts will be successful from Luminosity. Both Henny and Lucas strike true, picking up 2 kills against Ghost only a few seconds into the round here, and that includes the bomb, which has now been dropped on ramp. Luminosity, of course, know this, so they're going to look to lock this down now, throwing smokes onto the other side. Neptune does re-entry. 2 kills, in fact, from him to take down Lucas and Steel from Luminosity to get back that bomb under their control and probably just execute onto the site at this point. They're going to be using nades to try and push these players back and potentially inadvertently also pushes the guns away here a little bit. Not that it would really be needed. We are also going to see Henny try to re-peek into it and not be able to scout much for now because of the good smoke coverage that's been thrown out here from Ghost. But no plant just yet. They're kind of lagging behind on that. Thankfully, that should be coming in the next few seconds.
And there's a flank coming behind for the CTs. It's going to be Nekis So probably going to wait for him to come in through C. Actually, he decides to go through C and not through toilet. Even though they have 2 kits, they should have time for that back flank, but they can all attack from the same area.
It's going to be primarily Z, where 2 of the players from Luminosity work their way in from Yell, of course, still already holding the position over inside of the tanker lane. Sabrosa striking first. The second kill seemingly would have come from Neptune, but he misses that last bullet that he would have needed to finish off the kill. Nekis stays alive. Yell moves in, just barely picks up a kill on his own to bring Yell down low. The molly will be used on top of the bomb. It looks like they're defusing it anyway, though. They found a spot. What is planted in the corner? Yell's going to sneak it, and Wardell realizes it far too late for Luminosity, sinking the defuse, and Yell even picks up the last kill against the last member of Ghost.
That is so unfortunate. Like, that round should have been locked down the second that there's no smoke left on the Molotov and the bomb is planted in that specific spot. This is, yeah, that's unfortunate, but Luminosity Gaming, they'll take that. Like, that's a free raffle ticket, and they just won the jackpot.
Yeah, very much so, and I think amongst the chaos of the last round, probably just something that might have slipped through the cracks in the communication of Ghost was that it was planted so far off to the side. Yeah. Or they themselves may have not even realized it until it was too late there, since it was planted a little bit more off to the side than we're usually used to.
Now we have the low investment round. Ghost, apart from the initial 4, have only been able to gather 1 round so far, which is becoming a bit of a problem, especially if you're a very strategical team. Like, you can pick up a lot of rounds on T-side games. Like, you can pick up 7, 8, 9 rounds, and it shouldn't be that big of a problem. But Henny looking to pick up frags, but not getting anything.
Let Henny loose for this round, as it is another anti-eco that they're going up against here. Ghost, fortunately, not coming out on top of the whole lot here. Saw a dink at least against Yell, but only manages to knock off about 60 of his HP, and he has plenty of teammates around to make sure that he stays alive. All 5 still standing at the end of that round for Luminosity as they take control of yet another anti-eco without too much of an issue.
They're looking really solid on the CT side, but to be honest, like, with a team with a player like Henny on it and just strong individual players, that's kind of what I expect. I expect a strong CT side. I think the problems, if any, on this map for Luminosity will arise when they hit the T side. So a 9-6, 10-5 is probably to expect here for Luminosity, I feel like.
Ghost, in terms of the rounds that they've usually won on land, generally favor CT side as well. So they're probably not too worried that they've lost the lead just yet. I think they would more start to panic if we end up in like a 10-5 scenario for Luminosity, if they just run the gauntlet on these last 3 rounds. Going to be quick drop downs and quick ladder access. They're also going to be pushing out. Steel's completely blinded, but no one's noticed them. There we go. There's the pickup from Kusta. Neki is going to try to re-challenge. Puts 1 kill, nearly a second, but falls to Sabrosa instead. He'll have to back out of the fight, but Neptune will continue it now as he finds Yell in the short lane. Steel with the next pickup as Lucas is dropped, trying to flank from inside of ladder. And for Henny, well, there's just not much hope. So he's probably going to be falling back to save. Might move in to try and pick up an exit kill or 2, but I highly doubt he'll fully commit for the retake.
Really nice round here coming out of Ghost. In general, of course, the smoke setup and the Molotovs are really nice. Henny's going to try his best to get an exit kill. But what I would like to point out there is the flash timing and the push 3 guys down towards Pop Dog. Usually you don't push 3 guys down towards Pop Dog because you can get sandwiched. But if you do flash timing like they do out of A main or over A main, like that, it can be so powerful because you can get so incredibly close to the C connector with that flash timing and get the guy who's either behind E-box or close to the red train. You can get those kills so easily, and you can get so much map control close to the bomb train if you have those flash timings in. And it just works perfectly. The question is now, Ghost, do they want to go for something completely different now, or do they want to go for the exact same strategy to just push the issue and just constantly force the guys from Luminosity to change the setup?
It definitely seems like overall the faster strats are working from Ghost. The problem comes, though, is that if they constantly stick with the faster strats, then Luminosity is going to adjust to that.
Yeah,
it's a surprise every once in a while, right? But if you're just constantly doing it, it's not going to have that shock and all that it did on, I think, on that previous round and a lot of the other rounds where Ghost has used it. It seems like for now, though, yeah, they're going to keep using it. We've already got Steel fully peeked out towards T-Con. Molly's and other pieces of utility are going to hold them back, but the rest of the team is once again already kind of storming in to take ladder control, so we could still see a very quick follow-up once this first round of utility is down from Luminosity. Here we go.
Countering.
Moving out, Neck is committing to a full clip of spam, but missing, I think, quite literally every single bullet. Sabrosa, Neptune, and Neptune again picking up those entry kills, only leaving Steel alive on the other side of the site. Lucas getting a good angle, just not able to find the damage you really needed here. Steel able to put 1 more kill together, but that is it as Ghost run them over once again, just as we're entering the last round of the half.
I feel like this is a very good T-side call. You finally found a strat that really works and can really kind of catch your opponent off guard. Just do the exact same thing 2 times in a row. They're not going to expect it straight up. And then in this 3rd round, you do something completely different just to shake them up. Because now you've done the same thing 2 times in a row. You saw Nekis already trying to kind of find the solution. But let's see. They're going to go for Ivy control initially, and then 2 players towards Pop Dog. So that could still be a split outside, but not as heavy on the Pop Dog and the flash timing.
They kind of have to slow it down now, and you can see Luminosity also playing a lot closer to the chest. For some of these hard points here. Just on the outside of Ivy, they've got 3 players sitting on the CT side of it. And of course, one of them being Steel, very close up towards the server. They've even got a front E-Box player. Now, the other problem, too, is their money has been completely drained at this point. So a lot of them can't even work with actual rifles. We've seen quite a few players end up downgrading to SMGs this time. I think one of those players was even Steel. So we're going to see him go down. Yell should be able to get this trade, though, as he works his way out. No! Neptune stands strong, is ready for that push from Yell, and picks up a quick headshot to find his 2nd kill, while still keeping all 14 health points standing there.
Nice double setup there. Wardell, unlucky being caught off guard, but if that happens, Sabrosa is ready with the refrag. And now they're setting up for what could be an inside play. They're sneaking 1 player inside. That's going to be Kusta off screen. While Henny's just jumping around, and he's got an entry onto B, and then he calls that. B side is clear, guys. Let's just go in and plant. Only 1 player left. Let's play it safe.
Yep, and there's already 1 player looking to hunt him down. That would be Neptune, who found some of those nice kills earlier. Neptune actually should have been able to hear him jumping down. Just doesn't want to take the risk on a peek just yet. But it's really only a matter of time. He's got a 2nd player supporting him from Z now. He's going to walk right out to Neptune's crosshair. That confirms his 3rd kill on the round. Nice one from Neptune. As we do see Ghost take the lead at halftime from T side at 8-7.
Nice turnaround from them. I feel like strategical teams such as Ghost Gaming with the setup of James RL and of course Steel, like they will have a tendency, even though stats talk against it because stats in general on train favors the CT side. Strategical teams will actually, if they can get some of that momentum going, string 2, 3, 4 rounds together, will actually get 8-7, 9-6 more on the T side than, let's say, a team like Luminosity, who are very focused on the individual players and just making space for them and not playing in a very like strict model. So I'm not surprised, but I'm very happy to see that Ghost finally found out what the problems were. Now it's Luminosity, it's their time to just go on that T side and be aggressive. Let's see what they can get out of it. But it's going to be a hard choice, especially also if they can't grab this pistol round. This is going to be super key, who can grab this pistol. If Luminosity can get it, build some momentum, this could go into being a very, very close game. If they fail to get the pistol and the first buy round, that's where you move into dangerous territory.
Overall, though, Ghost should be happy with the way things played out. They've got control of the lead, and they've got a close match going on to their CT side, where, historically speaking, if we look at the stats, they generally win a whole lot more of their rounds. So if that holds true, they're in very good shape to follow through with this 8-7 and take it all the way to 16. But Luminosity, of course, still has the firepower. We've been missing some of that individual play. Guys who were really firing off yesterday, like Nekas, especially on pistols. Oh, it's Kusta, though, that starts raying heads off there by destroying Henny on these pistols to start things off for Ghost.
Straight 1-tap. That's not the start you want if you're Luminosity. Henny just going into no man's land just to clear out, okay, can we gain some map control here? And he just gets straight dinked. Double drop down towards Pop Dog. No one's there. Cleverly enough, the CTs are staying far away from the entry point, so they can use a longer range than the USPs. Setup is coming now from the T side, though.
Smoke's being used on this Luminosity, a very cautious pistol. The problem is that they just keep walking into angles that Ghost have. Sabrosa, 2 taps from him and 2 kills to take it home. A little bit more ammo exposed, but there we go. A 3rd kill also being found now by Sabrosa as well. The last player from Luminosity already hunted down, and Wardell will pick up the kill on it, as we do see Ghost take solid control of the 2nd pistol on this map too.
Very nicely done here. And Luminosity, you kind of feel like the second that something goes wrong, like for example Henny getting shut down early on, the general game plan takes a bit of a hit because it's so based off if we can find something to begin with and then react off of that.
It's just like such a momentum breaker, you know, you go to the round, like, all right guys, let's get it. Ah, crap. Like, like that's quite literally how it happens, it seems. But obviously, control the comms is a little bit better for teams like this. Neptune, though, look at his face, just casually running out there, picking up 2 kills in the process. He will be traded by Henny. Henny, unfortunately, though, with no real time to scavenge guns, is still going to fall to the 2nd player a moment later, with Wardell now finding the 3rd kill for Ghost and dropping the bomb in the process.
Yeah, unless a miracle happens and all the Ghost players type killing console, this round is done. There's absolutely no way that Nekas and Yell are going to get anyway. Maybe a single frag if Wardell overcommits and just rotates all the way around and decides to push them, but I don't know. That's the only way I see anything going their way. Glocks are not that good.
These last two are like stuck inside of lower floor ladder room too. I don't even think they can go back upstairs because we have Kusta in position there. So he's going to hear them more than likely going up top.
Well, they got the whole place locked down. They got 2 players at the bottom and 2 players around the position. Actually, I say Glocks aren't that good, and then they take down Sabrosa with full HP. That's just how logic works sometimes. The 2 of them working together, at least, had a little bit of firepower. Double Glock power.
Well, yeah, 1 Glock is bad, but 2 Glocks apparently is unstoppable. They do manage to take down at least 1 player. Neckers will recover the gun in the process. They kind of needed that, of course, to be honest. They still have to move in and recover the bomb with less than 30 seconds to get it back to the site, too. So they're pretty much just going to rush down. Steel will call this, gets the first and second kills to quickly close out and secure now double digits for Ghost as they push on 10.
10-7. This is around now. This is where Luminosity needs to come in and make a difference. AK's coming in. Krieg on Yell. He's thinking right now, what's the play here? Obviously a default setup to begin with. But what kind of plays are you going to make as the round progresses?
It's going to be Luminosity that move in and just take pretty standard positions to start off this round. They're not really going to try to go for a whole lot of control. Just holding in T-Con, the White Halls, and of course on the back foot of Ivy too as they approach there. And besides that, it looks like they're just kind of wanting to run the timer down and capitalize on any aggression from Ghost, which we're seeing a little bit of it, but not enough to where Luminosity would be able to catch any right now.
No, they're basically just saying, if you want to play aggressive and fast, we're going to counter that by these like 2 players inside and then 2 players close to the pop dog. If you want to play out the timer, just slowly take map control, that's fine, you can do that. We're just going to hold our angles.
Wardell's going to take on a little bit of pressure as he creeped out to the boxes. Spotted some face from Luminosity. He is going to back away, though, which leaves Kusta out to dry here a little bit unless they push directly on him.
Yeah, and that's the bait setup right there. Usually works very well if the inside push comes and the guy towards floor. He's now rotated off, but he can make a lot of noise there. Is it going to be the top dog push or the straight inside push? Because now the bomb is rotating in. Kusta's position could be key. He needs someone to come and make noise towards lower, though, if they want to go for this. He might get pre-fired if there's no attention towards lower.
There's no one else even in the side right now. They're going to rotate back, however.
Oh, the timing.
The sound cue might have been given away or something, but Kusta's definitely calling this out now. No one even checks his Bach position, though, so we're going to see Wardell rotate in. It's too late, and he's already established position on ramp. Now Kusta has to frag out, but he can only pick up 1. He's immediately traded out by Lucas. Steel's hunting for anything that he might be able to grab over here on the other side. Smoke comes in way too late. Sabrosa also still working on the MP9, picks up another flank kill, and Luminosity now lose their man advantage as a result, but they'll get it back. Neckis quickly finds another kill. He's close to the chest on Neptune as well, so we can take him down. Sabrosa, of course, they already know he's coming in on the Hall's flank. They still have to keep the possibility that he ran towards Steel alive, but Neckis will be able to find him, take him out, and secure out of the round for Luminosity.
Yeah, big risk being taken there by Luminosity of saying, okay, we're going to put 1 in the bait setup inside, and then we're going to rotate 4 players outside. That bait setup is really nice, but yeah, if they push him and push upper, if he's just alone, that angle is going to be pre-fired if there's no attention towards lower. And if lower is just completely left open, they can just go down, and yes, he gets the backstab, but after that, the refrag instantly comes in as soon that he pops out of lower, so a risk taken by Ghost Gaming by stacking 4 players outside, which is something a lot of teams do these days, and it doesn't pay off for them.
Unfortunately not. Luminosity do get the better of them. The flank setup even there from Kusta, just not enough to be able to push them down as he ends up moving in on that flank a little bit too late to find the impact that I think he would have liked to get out of that situation.
One thing to note as well is the post-plan setup for Luminosity. They had 1 or 2 players who went very aggressively down towards the bottom part and towards C-connector and almost towards CT, just to make sure that when Ghost's going to come in with their retake, because they were so far away from the bomb site, you're straight in their face already, and you can kind of take those tools and take those chances early on, see if you can get an early advantage. And that is very Luminosity-esque. You want to just get straight in there, straight in the head of your opposition, just psych them out. Always nice to see them play that kind of CS.
We are going to see Steel from Luminosity, that is, start things off. Hey, we finally got the Steel killing Steel. I don't think we actually got that yet, but it's going to be Luminosity Steel that'll continue to find frags here, moving in to take down Neptune and Wardell. Neckis will continue the team's luck, and they just completely walk through Ghost on this round. No challengers at all from the other side.
Really nicely done, Luminosity. Just cruise control these last couple of rounds and that buy round that they won. Making sure that, yes, we lost the first half by a single round. Yes, we lost the pistol, but we're going to grind it back. They do also play... They play kind of like a strange T-side on Train where some of the things that they do shouldn't really work, but because of the individual quality on the players, it ends up working out anyways, because all of a sudden, okay, suddenly you have like a player like Neck is just running in and getting an entry, and then you can just bomb off the side after that. And it's not like a big setup of big strategical plans, but because of the quality that they have on the players, it just ends up working out anyways.
We do end up seeing Ghost try to push forward a little bit with their positioning now into the sites to try and look for intel. Luminosity, of course, haven't given a whole lot away in the early seconds of this round. Steal from Luminosity is going to be creeping up a little bit more here, maybe to challenge, but no. We'll back out instead, and that's going to let Ghost continue to move in and hold their defensive positions here. Neptune, most notably, of course, right up against the wall, and he's even got trade support from Steal a little bit further back here should he end up going down. It's a good setup. The problem is it's misdirected, as right now Luminosity have a lot more focus on the upper halls, which would definitely lead this into a bigger ladder push if we ended up seeing them go out onto the A site. But even that's kind of still up in the air. They've got 3 guys in these back halls. There's a possibility they try to go for B too if the T-Con push goes poorly.
I see they're moving in towards B now, and the good thing is that because they have that situation towards T main, 2 players have already rotated into that B bomb site. But is it going to be the push? Now Neptune, great position, finds the first one. Kusta onto Lucas as well. Steal is still alive.
That's actually them shutting down the push into the B site too. They read this fake like a book. Steal from Luminosity is going to do a good job of at least holding his own here towards the T-Con, extending his own life, but unfortunately not really able to extend the round just yet. Tries to jump for the kill, but only gives his position away to Wardell to end the round for Ghost as they maintain their lead and stop Luminosity from running away with an advantage on this T side, much like they did back in the first half.
Yeah, always nice to see like one team having some problems in a couple of rounds and then immediately just shutting it back down with some like small nice details. For example, like the push as we saw into T, main or T connector, if you will. Like these small things where you can get like, instead of having a like 60-40 in the advance of the CTs or the Ts, you get it back by playing a little bit aggressively. But Water right now cleaning up. This is the buy, remember, from Luminosity. So wasting all their money in this one because they're just getting shut down. Still though, trying to bring it back and forget about wasting money. Now it's down to a 2v1. It's still possible, but Sabrosa with the AK will shut it down.
And we are going to see Ghost keeping to tradition with these low player count wins when they actually do end up picking up rounds. It's been pretty unstable for them. That's really one of the few negatives we can look at right now for Ghost as a team is the fact that unfortunately when their consistent round wins are not necessarily the most dominant ones, and that's going to be hurting their long-term economy growth. But thankfully they win their gun rounds, or they win their gun rounds and just their rounds in general so much more consistently than Luminosity. And even better, they're able to adjust when they do lose rounds, I think, a lot more quicker than we see Luminosity doing so, as we're just seeing them take their first pause now, and they're almost at the brink of losing this map, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, just use those pauses. You have them to your disposal. You can use them for many different things, not just like fixing issues. Right now it seems like there's a small technical issue because there's a technician on stage helping Zach and the players aren't saying anything though. So I imagine that it's because the connection to his headset is not really working out. So of course we're still going to give the guys their timeout, so we're just going to wait and see if that can get fixed straight away. But yeah, just use those timeouts. Even if you can't get it to work, like even if you don't have any fixes as a coach and you're just getting run over, just take a timeout to take a deep breath and refocus. Like remember like all the things that work in the practice games, take that over, bring that into the game, refocus on what you know works and who you know can get into good positions and get like a early advantage. Just focus on like the positives, even if it's going bad.
Let's see Ghost using this as a moment to compose themselves as well. As we get into fixing this, I think it's a mic issue with the coach, as you said. We look into fixing that as quickly as possible before we jump back into game. And Luminosity's last attempts to stop Ghost from running away with his first map are going to be coming up as well. So we want to make sure Luminosity is nice and prepared for that. Like I said, it's the first pause they've actually taken on this map compared to Ghost using already 3 out of 4 of their own, taking the first one of this half after losing only a single round. So they're very, very proactive. Ghost, this is on fixing any issues that might pop up in the midst of their gun rounds or just rounds they end up losing.
Yeah, this technical pause actually slightly will give an advantage to Luminosity because they're the ones who just lost the round. The momentum has just swung back in the favor of Ghost, but it's such a small thing anyways. You can see the Ghost gaming players, they want to just get back into it because things have finally started working out. But then on the other end, if it can't be fixed easily, that's going to be an issue of frustration also for Luminosity, because they want to talk about it. And if the technical side is not allowing that, then yes, it's an advantage, because Ghost are going to be getting tired and just sitting there, let's get going, start to like make some fun. But like if Luminosity, they're just sitting there getting frustrated, that's even worse.
I mean, you could see the frustration on Zach a moment ago there. I think they thought they had it fixed, and he tried it again. It's not working. So it's going to broil up pretty quickly, unfortunately, especially in these more high-tense matches. We are in the bracket stage now, so there's no longer any safety nets with a lower bracket. If you drop the match, you're out.
That is a nice cap. I like it.
Yeah. He just know how to rock that pretty well.
All right, so we found out what the issue is, and definitely some technicians to fix it. There's something with a sound counter and a cable, so it shouldn't be too bad. Get that reattached, and let's get going again.
Yeah. Sound card in someone's foot, apparently. So we're going to work to fix that as quickly as possible, guys, and then jump back into the match. We should remind anyone at home, of course, that didn't pay attention to our earlier segments, that this is a best of 3, so it's only the first map here so far. Still 2 more maps to come, potentially, afterwards, in addition to our other semifinal and our grand final that's going to be happening after the second semifinal concludes, probably about 30 minutes to an hour after that, as we want to give the second semifinal team a little bit of a break, of course.
Yeah, of course, and if you're in the Atlanta, the region, the area, just get some tickets down at the Georgia World Congress Center, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to have CS all day. If you're not anywhere near, of course, you can watch it here on Twitch TV. And if you want to get all the access, go on to Snipe, and you can get that multi-pass.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, once again, guys, a close battle between these two teams. Ghost still, fortunately for Luminosity, still the clear leader as the current scoreline sits at 12-9, especially with Ghost just battling back for control of this CT side. We've only just recently jumped into the second half. Started out with 2 successful rounds from Ghost. 2 T rounds were just traded out by Luminosity, and then the same thing, 2 more rounds was just traded back by Ghost in the last 2 to shut down all of the pushes from LG, somewhat in quite convincing fashion. So unfortunately, LG seems to have lost their edge a little bit here, and that's what the pause was meant to fix.
Yeah, good smiles, good spirits all over the place over at Ghost, and smiles in the crowd as well. Always nice to see.
It's some early risers out there. It's, well, for gamers anyway, early risers.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm in a different time zone right now, but usually I would not be awake.
No, yeah.
Let's be real.
That's
Our prac starts at 1, so I'll wake up usually at 12:30.
I would not be up either at the equivalent time for where I live right now. So.
Or you just gotta shape it around what you like, and
yeah.
If what you like is watching Counter-Strike, then it makes sense being up this early, because there's some good CS to go around.
Absolutely the case. Just to give you folks a little bit of a primer for what you might be seeing in the next matchup as well. That's going to be Vitality, the new French roster, going up against the North Americans' Complexity. So that could actually make for, in my opinion, a pretty interesting matchup. That could,
yeah.
That could be a pretty close bout between those 2 teams there.
And once again, just like this one, like Vitality, a team with so much firepower, Complexity, a team with a very strict like system of how they want to play CS, the same as we have in this kind of scenario. I do feel like, though, like if Apex and the guys on that Vitality lineup can step up, especially Saiwu, they might even be able to deliver more firepower than LG can, even though LG are a very good team at that.
So a pretty good mix, I think, on both of those teams of like old and new players as well. Granted, the like reputation, I think, of the players on Vitality kind of outshines the more veteran players on Complexity by a decent margin. But still, we get that legend and kind of a young gun factor coming in there. Obviously, with Zaiwu on Vitality being the young gun there, and then similar players jumping in for Complexity as well. Get to see how those guys evolve. It also kind of opens up the interesting possibility between this semifinal and the other one of an all NA-based final too. If Complexity ended up coming out on top of the Vitality match, which for international lands is a pretty rare thing.
Yeah, that is true.
To be honest.
But yeah, we're just getting some messages here. We might be able to have a fix already, but we're just gonna wait and see. Of course, waiting for the complete confirmation. But hopefully, fingers crossed that we can get back into the game. If not, then that's how it is. We want to make sure
plan it from that point forward. Right now,
we want to make sure that the players and the coach is 100% ready to go. We don't want to start a game unless everything is 100%.
Absolutely the case. And most importantly, too, Luminosity did call for a pause, so we'll make sure we give them the time to discuss whatever they wanted to discuss going into that pause. This is probably a pretty crucial round coming up. If I remember correctly, they kind of just got wiped off the board on an eco, so...
Yeah, and it's 12-9 and especially, so if Ghost Gaming, they get like a couple of like rounds of momentum and then a bye, then this map is over. So this is a very important round coming up for Luminosity. If they can bring it home.
More than likely a gun round coming up here for Luminosity. So pressure's on for them, of course, with the scoreline where it is at 12-9. If we do see Ghost picking this one up, that's a likely push because we'd see another eco from Luminosity. That would put Ghost on 14. Luminosity really only have like one more chance to try and turn it around from that point forward. Otherwise, the map just kind of slips into Ghost's favor. There's really no way to turn it back around. And here we go, folks. Apologies once again for the technical delay, but we are live now between Ghost and Luminosity. Welcome once more to those of you that did just join us. It's Luminosity on the T side and Ghost on the CT side.
Yeah, eco coming in right now, so don't expect too many fireworks, but the next one is going to be super crucial. That's going to be the key round for Luminosity if they want to get back into this game, because unless something insane happens, it's going to be 13-9 for Ghost.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the map choice of Luminosity.
And Ghost at the moment have had a pretty convincing job of holding the line, at least the score line here so far, and the overall outcome of a lot of these rounds. Luminosity, when they've been winning rounds, there's been a little bit more convincing, to be fair. Ghosts have always pushed the envelope a little bit with their ability to win rounds, only winning with, like, at most 3 players, I think, alive in most circumstances. Yeah. But Luminosity, unfortunately, their wins have been more few and far between due to the very quick adjustments that's been coming out from the IGL and the leadership team behind Ghost. They're calling for pauses pretty much instantly after any major gun round loss.
And this is it, Luminosity. This is where they need to step up. You're going to have an AWP on Yell, potentially for a front spawn, and then drop it over to Henny later on. Let's wait and see. This is the round they need instantly, dropping down towards Pop Dog, but Wardell is peeking aggressively towards inside.
Wardell's going to continue to wrap back around here. The problem is he goes into the angle of one of the AKs, but Lucas seems a little bit uneasy with his position, so he ends up swinging wide directly into Wardell. A good push from Nekes, though, does find the trade. Kusta is still left alive for now, but that could change. They're still pushing past this smoke, potentially trying to ice out Kusta. He'll pick up the op instead and just decide to fall back a little bit closer towards Z, and it'll be Steel with the rifle in hand, of course, that'll take the front line here on the B site.
What's the play going to be? Luminosity, one guy on the deep lurk if they want to go for this B play. Already now 2 CTs in towards the side. Henny, his job right now is to sell this outside push. But one smoke committed. They might not have even heard that smoke because they're so far away. So nothing's really happening. So for the CTs, just standing their ground.
Steel's going to get thrown up. Steel is able to find his opening kill, but is immediately traded afterwards by Steel from Luminosity. Kusta, though, takes down the top player with the elimination of Yell, and with that, Ghost get back their man advantage to play for on the retake. Even worse, they have a hard lurk coming in on the A side through Ivy that's going to get absolutely nothing. They're pinching nothing right now, and because of this, the Bros is going to walk right up, take down Steel, and Ghost will be a bit confused because the site is left wide open. There's no one there to defend the bomb. I think they've already checked uppers, so they're not really worried about that, and Henny's just going to awkwardly shuffle away because there's not really anything he can do anymore as Ghosts do continue to push forward up to 14 in the pivotal gun round. Unfortunately, Luminosity are not able to get anything done with it.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate there for Luminosity. I like the idea of having that hard lurk to come in at the end of the round to be the saving grace, but the setup that they had, Ghost Gaming, with such a quick rotation in towards Pop Dog and then just getting that back flank, like that whole C connector hard lurk at the end just becomes useless in the big picture, and that's unfortunate because the idea in general is good, but the setup that Ghost had for that, like for this round, was just
completely
perfect.
Countered it.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that intentional either. It was just okay. Let's focus around the areas. Wardell now on Ivy, gonna get flashed off. Gonna hit that shot. Pretty hard flick to hit at least, but does get the leg damage with it.
A little bit of nade damage going to come back at him in the meanwhile. Nekes from Luminosity will catch the Barossa at the bottom of the ladder room. Takes him down early and does give Luminosity an early man advantage, 5v4 to play off of here. They'll still be taking things nice and slow on the side of Luminosity, however. Still have the hold outside of Ivy, which hasn't been pushed on yet. The 2 players at T-Con. They've actually let Ghost walk in and take T-Con control once more. So they will have to deal with that on execute, as it's currently looking like they're going for the outer take. And besides that, of course, you still have Lucas waiting on the top of ladder room to push in there. They're going to move towards T-Con. The bomb gets dropped. There's a trade from Nekkes. Are they expecting Neptune to be around the corner? Yes, they are. And Nekkes will also be able to pick up the opening kill upon it. Takes down Neptune. Nekkes even moves in to find Wardell, single-handedly tearing apart the Ghost roster as everything's left down to Kusta in a 1v4 scenario.
And this is exactly what they need in Luminosity. One of the players to step up individually and just take matters into his own hands. This time around it's going to be Nekkes, and he will do exactly that. We'll get Luminosity on double digits now. There's no way that Kusta's going to go for a 1v3 with an AWP. Going to hope for an exit frag here, and that's going to be his chance. Don't think he's going to commit it further than this. Ooh. Oh, now he has a chance to pick something up while they're looking away.
They saw him.
He's finished.
I think he...
Nekkes gets the ace.
Yeah, there you go. Nicely played by Nekkes there. I kind of would have hoped that he didn't get spotted and would have attempted to go for a ninja there. I think that's what he was banking on, that the guy in E-Box just doesn't end up seeing him at the end of the day. But beautiful stuff from Nekkes, mainly on this AK here, and of course with the AWP at the end, single-handedly just tears through this T-Con defensive setup that was established by Ghost and gets absolutely nothing done. Could have been the thing that single-handedly stopped Luminosity in their tracks once again, but ended up being their demise at the end of the day.
And in the buy round as well. Like, look at the money now for Ghost. Apart from Neptune and Steel, like, they're down to $50, 150 and 600 on Sabrosa. If Luminosity can grab this one as well, they can not only grow their own economy, but they can force Ghost into a low investment round or even an eco. That's with potentially 11 rounds on the board, so could make this match really, really interesting, or this map really, really interesting. Flash timing. Neptune is going to get some damage done. Might have been Wardell.
Bit of an awkward fight overall there. Just a few players out of position and not really ready for the pushes. But it's going to be Sabrosa that actually finds the first kill as he takes down Steel from Luminosity. 4 here too. Nekkes also tries to push him and successfully, but not enough to where he can continue out towards the E-Box. He's brought down to 22 HP, so he does have to take his foot off the gas for a moment afterwards.
Looks like they're setting up for an A play. Our good friends from Luminosity. With 3 smokes actually, excuse me, 1 Molotov and 3 flashes. It's more than enough. You can do a flash timing push out of T-main. That seems to be the play, and then have the lurk coming in from Ivy to kind of open up when everyone's focused towards T-main. That guy can come in. That's going to be Yell with a scoped creek.
And we'll be at bat over here towards the T-Con. And we'll only be able to find 1 additional kill. He took damage from an earlier fight, so Neptune can now chime in. He's still at full 100. He can take down Lucas. Man advantage is restored for Ghost, and less than 10 seconds for them to find the plant. Wardell missing a shot, given a second opportunity, and missing that one as well. Keeps Luminosity alive. The thing is, too much time has been wasted. There's no way that bomb's getting to the site. Henny knows it. He's going to back away, and Ghost push up to map point with the timer expiring.
Despite, of course, missing the 2 shots, which kind of sucks for Wardell. I really like the way that he reached that. So he's getting the information, okay, they're playing towards the team main, they're playing towards like getting outside of that area and moving on towards the side. What is the only place that could be a really, really nice like secondary angle for them to come in and backstab us? That's going to be Ivy. So instead of just focusing towards team main where he knows he's getting information, there are enemies, he's thinking, okay, where could they else come from? What could be the other position? Because it's not going to be 5 players in the same position just rushing out. That way of thinking is really nice, especially when you got to counter like specific positions when you have 2 near you. He does the right job there, of course, missing the 2 first bullets, but the general way that he thinks about the round really works out.
Start things off with a bit of an engagement between Kusta and Nekkes. Neither player ends up going down to it, but it's Neptune pushing forward towards T-Con. It's a 2-man push, actually, supported by Sabrosa on top of the blue train that does it up in a 2-for-1 exchange favoring Ghost. Another kill now found by Wardell because there's no presence from the T side at the edge of Ivy. He just walks right out, drops the bomb, and with Sabrosa's next kill, we're down to only 1 from Luminosity. It's all on Nekkes. He's going to get jumped on by Kusta, and with that, Ghost have a convincing closeout on their opponent's map pick in the first map of this series to push them up 1-0. 1 more, and they've got a spot in the grand finals and will eliminate Luminosity from this event.
Very nicely done by the Ghost Gaming boys. Steel and Luminosity looking dissatisfied. Definitely not what they wanted to get out of that train. They felt like they could have done so much more, and I would agree with them. Some of the rounds were pretty close, and some of the rounds they kind of like missed the mark with a little bit. Strategically, not that much of a depth, but we kind of missed like the big time players to step up. Like we didn't see an Auburn any really make a big difference, which it can sometimes. And when he does get into that kind of mode, no one can stop him. He didn't get into that mode here.
Especially from CT side, unfortunately, we didn't really see much of Henny, which is really what we were expecting them to step up and pick up a majority of their rounds. They really just held it in close contention and pulled a 7-8 half there. And unfortunately for me, that was where I saw Luminosity dropping the map, and that turned out to be relatively true. But that does close out our first map, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with us, as in a few minutes, we're going to be coming right back to you with the second map between these two teams here at the DreamHack Open.